Just drop that ass, bitch. It's open micers in the house. Pop that pussy with that open micers logo in your mouth. Jason with his bald ass head. Jacob looking in bed. It's open micers, bitch. Heard what I said. Drop that ass. Open micers in the house. Drop that ass, pop that pussy. Open micers in the house. Open micers in the house. Open micers is a mouse. Drop that ass, pop that pussy. Open micers in the house. The mic is now open.
Yeah, that's right. The mic is now open. My name is Jason Robbins, and I have no idea where Jacob is right now. Hopefully he's not murdered by, a scary clown or something lying in the ditch. Maybe he's okay. Maybe he's eating a burger or something. I don't know. But I've never had to, watch, the guest cringe while our theme song is going by myself. So I just want to go ahead and apologize to the guest right now for our theme song. So sorry about that. But our guest tonight is a comedian from Tallahassee and Tennessee. And he's done some ghost stuff we're going to talk about. Mr. Sleepy P Floyd. How you doing, sir?
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I'm kind of worried about Jacob. I ain't gonna lie. I'm worried about him. So, what do you think? Is he dead, or is he just avoiding us now? Did he quit the show? What's happening? I think you're.
Did he quit the show? I didn't know.
I don't know.
I am breaking up pretty terribly.
Yeah, a little bit. What a horrible night to podcast. It seems like the Halloween is wreaking havoc on the show here now. Are we back?
Apparently. Is there a rainstorm where y'all are at? Because it's still sunny over here.
No, it's fine here. Okay. I don't know.
Well, damn.
But anyway.
Y'all brought this upon yourselves. Ghosts work in mysterious ways, I've heard.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your comedy career.
Sleepy P Floyd. I came into comedy late in life, but it's opened several doors for me, such as trivia host, ghost tour guide, and begging for spare change on the side of the road. So, lots of career opportunities through comedy.
So the thing I'm interested in most is the ghost tour guide. How do you land a gig like that? Because I've done a few ghost tours in my life, and I would love to be a ghost tour. What do you call yourself? Like a host, or? I
always struggled with it. Yeah, I messed it up every time too. But ghost tour guide is what I would put on a resume if I were ever to have to make one of those. But ghost tour guide, so technically I actually got it directly through comedy. I thought I was going to be a storyteller comic when I first started. So 4 months in, I was like, I'm hot shit. And I went to a storyteller competition. And I actually won second place. And the lady who was running the storytelling competition went, hey, I'm doing this other thing. I got this side gig. It's ghost tours in the most haunted little city in Florida. And it's like, okay, tell me more. She told me what it paid. And I went, okay, I'm down. I'll be there. And then, it was just driving out to, I'm still not entirely convinced I should say the name of the town.
Can I guess? If I guess it right,
100%.
Was it St. Augustine?
No, it was not, which is what, and when I say that, everybody's like, oh yeah, so you were a ghost tour guide in St. Augustine. I was like, no, we envied them because we were just being lied to by a little old lady who wrote a bunch of books and was a storyteller. So, and the lady I got the job through actually got her job because she helped the lady who wrote the haunted This Tiny Little Town story and like sold the books, tried to, make it on the New Yorker list. But ghost books don't do that. They make a very small amount of money in the local community. And turns out they actually really usually piss off the local community, because after she wrote the book, they ran her out of town like she was some kind of witch.
Really?
Yeah. And so she stopped doing the ghost tours, and the lady who helped her write the books was anonymous enough that the city was like, hey, we want to do ghost tours again. You want to do some ghost tours that aren't completely inflammatory to the local community? And she was like, I'll try.
So the ghost books she was writing, they were complete fiction? There was like no truth to it?
That's what I found out they kind of all do. You embellish.
Well, you always got to do some embellishment, but at the same time, it's like if she's just making everything up and angering the entire town, that's kind of shady.
Yes and no. It's the simplicity of taking an old ghost story, like what's one everybody remembers, The Hitchhiker, right? Yeah. The guy breaks down near the graveyard and picks up a hitchhiker, and they disappear once they pass the next graveyard or some shit. It's simple things like changing the name of the cemetery, or changing the make and model of the car, or the hitchhiker's name. Some of the things are exactly like that. Some of them are real lore that has come up through the town. So like the town that I was doing it in was they had a jail cell that we were allowed or a jail that was built in like 1812 or something, that we had full access to, had stopped being updated like right around 1945. So it had been refurbished a bunch of times, but it was an old jailhouse. So there were tons of stories about that. But occasionally you'll get one of those stories that's, you heard on some horror movie in like 1992.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a guy here who hung himself, and you can still see the sheets moving up the corridors if you look just slightly out of your left eye at the right moment. Shit like that.
Do you believe in ghosts? I mean, do you believe ghosts?
No.
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 At all? At all?
No.
Like,
I don't know how the people that did that job, because it wasn't just me. It was the storyteller that hired us, and then I was coming from a comedy background. We had a lead singer and 2 actresses who were also all doing it. It was just people who wanted exposure. Can you tell I was a first-year comic when I took this job?
Out of sheer curiosity, what does a ghost tour guy pull down on a weekly basis?
Man, if you are entertaining enough, the tips are endless.
Oh, yeah.
You got families and stuff. You start paying attention to the kids, make them spooked and like giggle a little.
Yeah.
Parents are giving you $20 each. You do that.
That seems to
3
be
times a night.
Perfect job for a comedian, though, because if you make people laugh on something where tipping is essential, dude, you could make bank.
Yeah, it was great. Actually, after the year that I stopped doing it, she called me halfway through October and went like, "There's people that have been asking for you," because I did it for 4 years, and then I stopped because I was just tired of driving out there. Honestly, it was like a 45-minute drive.
I was gonna ask,
I was doing it 3 or 4 times.
If you moved to the town, or did you live there already?
No, fuck no. Once they found out that what the stuff we were talking about, the town came in and tried to edit us. They had like a town meeting, and like, y'all gotta stop saying some of this stuff about us. Every small town has the hanging tree, right? We're in the South, like that exists. The fact that this town built a gas station around it instead of just cutting it down, they removed the plaque, but they did not cut the tree down.
It's kind of like poltergeist, where they're just like, you just removed the headstones.
Right. You didn't do anything about what the actual problem.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't imagine like what town that would be in Florida, because I mean, I've been on ghost tours in various cities, but like the ones that were really the best ones I ever went on were, of course, in New Orleans, which I've been on the vampire tour, the ghost tour, and there's so much history in New Orleans, and they're not shy about any of it, and that's kind of, when you got a town like New Orleans, just like not proud of their history, but they kind of just wear it on their sleeve as like, that's what made us what we are. And then you got like a little small town in Florida where they're just like, we don't want you here. Like, get out.
Yeah. Small towns in Louisiana are cool. Small towns in Florida are sundown towns still.
Yeah.
It's I mean, but to be fair, if you get to know them, they're pretty tight knit communities, and all of them have a little bit of history, a little bit of lore. We've had the railroad running through here for a lot of years, so there's tons of old railroad stories about this town. And yeah, I'm still not sure I want to say who it is, just in case. But eventually I probably will. I'll probably tell on myself, because there is one great story about the town. It's Monticello.
Okay, I know where Monticello is.
Some people do, not many though. Unless you're really into antiques, you probably don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty, it's one of those towns that if you go to Florida regularly, like I do, I go to Pensacola a lot to, drive through Florida. I used to drive through Florida all the time because my brother used to live in Daytona. So I would go through the whole panhandle all the way to the East Coast and then go down. So, and if anybody has ever driven through Florida, Florida's a big freaking state. I don't think anybody realizes how freaking big Florida is.
It's long both ways.
Yeah.
You start getting bored and looking for the 98s and
there's nothing to look at either. If you're on the interstate, there's nothing to see. And the whole time you're going through Florida.
Just the people who can't drive. And then once that gets you mad enough, you hop off and find some back roads.
I think the worst experience I ever had going through Florida is I was at my brother's house for I would go down there and visit him for like a week at a time. And I would come back and I would leave at like 4 a.m. So, and it was like a 9-10 hour drive to get home here in Mississippi. So I would leave at like 4 a.m. and try to get home by like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I left them once at like 4 a.m. And this was before GPS. This was late 90s. You had to have a map, the actual physical paper map to know where you were going. And I'm going home and I got to use the bathroom. Like it is that morning time. You got to go, and it's like, I'm getting towards Jacksonville. And I don't want to stop in Jacksonville. I'm like, I'm going to hold it until I get to the other side of Jacksonville, then I'm going to stop. And so I get through Jacksonville, and I'm looking on the map, and it says there's a rest area on the other side of Jacksonville, and that's where I was going to stop. Okay, so I get through there, and I get to the rest area, and it hasn't been built yet. There was still a coming soon sign. And, of course, between Jacksonville and Lake City is like 90 miles of nothing. No gas stations, nothing. If you run out of gas, you're screwed because there's nothing. And I got to the point where I had to use the bathroom so bad. I was literally standing on my gas pedal doing like 140 miles an hour just trying to get to a gas station. I was to the point where I was ready to just pull over, go in the woods, and just use the map to wipe with.
Yeah, damn. Well, at least if you were doing 140, you matched with the traffic over there.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't think I've ever hit that south end of Jacksonville where everybody wasn't doing over 100. So.
Oh, my God. Jacksonville's the worst. I don't know what's worse, Jacksonville, Dallas, or Atlanta for traffic.
I think I've finally been up to Atlanta enough now with comedy that I think I got a hold of the first time I rode through downtown and the interstate opened up to 12 goddamn lanes. I about died from a fucking heart attack.
Dude,
and now I can just casually run through all of it.
First time I had to drive through Atlanta, I was in the band Fall as Well. We were on tour. We had our tour van, so it was me, 6 other guys in the back of the van with the trailer on the back. And I'm driving this thing, and we get in that, when whatever that highway is that, goes through Atlanta, spreads out, and then everybody's doing like 300 miles an hour. Dude, I thought I was white knuckling it I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I'm surprised I didn't have a stroke.
Yeah, no, the first time I'm sitting there and it opened up to 12 lanes, I'm holding on to the goddamn steering wheel, doing the white knuckle fist bump, like, no aquarium in the world is worth this shit. What the fuck are we doing?
It doesn't matter how fast you're going. You could be going top speed in whatever car you're in. If it was 120 mile an hour top speed, everybody's still passing you like you're standing still. It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Fucking old ladies with that fucking blue hair perm bullshit in 1992 Camrys.
Yeah.
Just beat the hell going past you and giving you ugly looks.
Yeah.
And they...
Then you get into the actual city itself, and then you're crawling. Like, you're moving like 2 inches an hour. And they have the worst, like, the road you would need to go on. Like, you get off the interstate, and you would have to make an immediate left, but there's like 4 lanes of traffic, and it's just nobody's ever going to let you through. So it's like, how do I get anywhere in this city?
I don't know. And how are there not more traffic deaths up there?
I don't know.
That's never the statistic I hear from Atlanta. It's always gun violence.
Yeah.
But and somehow still not the most haunted city in Georgia.
Yeah, no kidding.
Have you done you were talking about Louisiana earlier. Have you done the Savannah ghost tours?
No, but I've been to Savannah. I haven't done the ghost tour there, though.
The ghost tours there are intense.
Really?
Yeah, they had all kinds. Savannah had like legit serial killers at the turn of the last century.
Really?
That, like a concierge that somehow managed to convince the whole staff that there was no basement to this hotel. And for like 15 years, just like made people disappear and kept them down there and tortured them and sold the meat to the local butcher.
When was this?
It was like 1890 something.
Was that H.H. Holmes guy or whatever? Or what? Somebody different? Shit.
It's been 10 years since I took that tour, but yeah, I remember the points of the story.
Wow. See that shit like creeps me out, because you think I was actually thinking about this the other day, like how hard it would be to be a serial killer in today's world, especially with like DNA evidence and like, everybody's online, somebody comes up missing, that they're going to know, people know when people go missing. But like back in like up until what, like 1990, the 90s, like you could just be a serial killer and just do whatever the hell you wanted.
Yeah.
And the only way
the
only way they would get caught is just like hubris, like getting too cocky.
Yeah. There's been a bunch of dudes in their 80s and 90s in the last decade that have just been like, oh yeah, that was me. By the way, just like solving cold cases for them. Just being like, I thought you'd get me by now. I just wanted to be famous.
Because I watched a lot of documentaries, especially over, the pandemic, when you had nothing to do. We were just watching all kind of, true crime stuff. And you watch like, what was that guy out in L.A., the Night Stalker, like all those people.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it was just like, they would just have these like have a reign of terror over an entire city for like a year.
They had fucking Batman villains.
Yeah.
Him, Son of Sam, like
Son of Sam,
like real basic DC style villains that are like supremely plausible to happen.
Yeah, because they would just completely shut these cities down and tell people, have curfews and stuff, and it's like these murders are still happening, and it's just like, just go look for the people that are outside. It's got to be one of them,
right? Look for the person who's looking at everybody suspiciously.
Yeah,
might be them.
Yeah, no kidding. Might be that guy that's like, hanging out in the park, with a crowbar. That might be our guy.
I have no idea how shit's kept secret nowadays. Like, even I've got location and everything on my damn phone turned off, and as soon as I pass the McDonald's, the little fucking app goes, "Hey, by the way,
yeah,
turn around, come back, bitch."
See, that's another thing. Our phones know exactly where we are at all times.
In order to murder somebody, you have to convince them to get rid of their phone
several
miles away from where you plan on killing them.
Nowadays, that ain't happening. Ain't nobody getting rid of their phone.
Nope. And I work in the service industry, so believe me when I know. I've peed several places where I thought I was in the clear, and 2 weeks later, my boss goes, "I need you to come in the office. Hey, you need to stop pissing on people's stuff." Well, they won't let me in the house, man. I look sketchy, I think. I don't know.
Oh man. But let's actually move into like your comedy career. And one of the questions we like to ask on this show is what was your very first open mic experience like?
Oh, it was does everybody say like it went really well?
No.
No,
very few. We've had a couple, but most people are like they'll tell us some horror stories.
I was confused. Like I was older. I was in my mid-30s when I started.
Same.
And yeah. And just gone through a breakup and was kind of like, I just need something to get out there.
Same.
I'm already drinking at these bars every night. I'm going out to comedy so I can try and get some laughter in my life. I'm just kind of trugging through with work at this point. What the fuck's going on? I had a friend come with me one time and they're like, "You need to do that." I'm like, "Okay, sure. I'll give it a shot one time. I'm going to do it one time." And then the process back then too in town was weird because there was only the one mic. So you had to like meet the showrunner separately and work out like, well, we'll give you 5 minutes, but you can't say this. And then there was like, okay, now you need to run your set by me.
Oh God.
So like I spent 3 weeks, like it was some kind of college paper, like working on my first 5 minutes. And it turns out I wrote down like 12 minutes worth of shit because it took me 3 weeks to get through it all. But I don't mind admitting it. The first joke I ever told was just obvious trash. I stole I got a Ukrainian friend. I got a mic. I don't even remember the damn joke I stole. But it was a production joke because I worked in production forever. So it was a mic check joke.
Yeah.
And I just changed the words around a little and stole that, and everybody kind of chuckled. And then like I told one of the jokes that I had written, and I got an actual response, and I was like, okay, that's cool. I didn't find out until about 3 months later that I was one of the first people to even try comedy for about 6 months on that stage.
Really?
It had been the same like 6 people every single week. So they were just like, "Oh no, we were just, your shit wasn't funny. We just appreciated a different point of view and a different joke."
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Thanks. So good and bad, ups and downs. I found somebody who had been doing it for 10 years in town, but they'd been up and down and all over, and kind of took me under their wing and started pointing shit out. And I slowly actually got into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was all just hey, you should try this. And then, okay, this is kind of fun. I like this. I like the people that I meet in this.
Yeah.
Let's start building some shit, because there wasn't much here.
See, that's the thing that is kind of missing from here now in the mic scene is when I first started, you know, all the comedians would kind of hang out and talk about their jokes and, you know, run jokes by each other, you know, help each other out, because it's always good to get other people's ideas in your jokes and everything. And then it just kind of, I don't know, I feel like everybody, and we kind of talked about this before we started the show, but it feels like everybody's kind of a lone wolf these days, and everybody is kind of in that kill Tony mindset, and it's just, I think it's kind of bad for comedy, honestly.
Yeah, everybody wants to reinvent the wheel before they can walk. Like I said, they don't want to learn the basics. So when you're trying to, like you were saying, talk about comedy with an old head or with friends and stuff, and you can go, all right, well, the tag you said on that joke was pretty good, but I thought you were going to go this direction with it. Like, they don't even know what a tag is.
Yeah.
Or where it comes in the format of a joke. And so they're not even writing real jokes. They're just saying shit they think is funny or will get a reaction.
Yeah.
Because we have a thing, and y'all probably have it too. Every community has it. It's a super alt mic scene thing. But I started dubbing it a couple of years ago, hand clap comedy. And it's the other side of the edgy coin. You're not trying to be as edgy as possible. You're just trying to be as likable as possible. So they're just saying shit about their life to get not laughter, but applause.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of liberal comedy shit, because every single fucking person that I've seen go on stage and they go, and they tell some really personal thing, and then they go, and that's how I came out as bisexual. The audience always claps, males.
Yeah.
But it's that, like, I need to say this about myself. It's more of like a trying to garner like support from the audience without having to give jokes. And it's like, this is comedy. Please don't tell me a really long, sad story about your last Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's kind of like you want confirmation bias, and you're just not getting it enough online. So yeah, you go and try to do comedy. Not even, like you said, not even really comedy. It's just kind of like trying to get people to, like you said, you need that applause.
Yeah,
for your ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, and we started calling it hand clap comedy because nobody starts laughing about any of it. They're just always like, yes, you deserve validation for what you just said. However, this is a weird place to, like, yeah.
But I mean, it's kind of the same thing as you know, the Kill Tony types on the other side. It's like neither one of those groups really. It's like you said, they don't understand what a tag is. They don't know. They don't even understand like simple things like the difference between a joke and a bit. You know, it's
right.
Like they've never really listened to. It's almost like they've never. It's like they want to do comedy and they've seen comedy, but they just don't understand. Like it's kind of like making movies or music. It's like you see the sausage, but you don't want to understand how the sausage is made. You know, and there's a lot more that goes into comedy than just going up there and saying the shittiest thing imaginable, or like you said, trying to just say something that just gets applause. Like, if you want to write a joke, there's mechanics to it. There's there's math to it. You know, there's a science behind it.
Right. There's so much psychology going on. We're at like DSM-5 now or some shit, and trying to persuade an entire crowd to do something isn't even something that we require from our politicians anymore. They just have to not suck the worst.
Yeah.
Like, they don't even have to be charming or engaging. But as a fucking mid-level comic doing restaurant mics 2 nights a week to try and like bolster up a 20-minute set or something, like, you're expected to be the fastest, most clever, most funny individual. And I've watched the presidential debates. You don't have to do that to run for political office anymore.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, I just kind of, and I think a lot of it is political, and then, you know, like with the culture war and all that kind of stuff. It's like, who can say the shittiest thing, and like, who can? It's like all people want to do is just piss each other off while making their team go, yeah, you get them. And I don't, like, my comedy is just, I don't want to do any of that. Like, I don't want my comedy to be, you know, I like to tell jokes and stories about weird, stupid shit that happens to me, or like my little idiosyncrasies, you know, that people can relate to, that they do themselves, but they don't think about until somebody points it out. And they're like, oh, I do that too. You know, that type of stuff.
Right, yeah. You're talking about everybody trying to cheer up each other's sides. Yeah, it's just Broadway at that point. You're just like the Sharks and the Jets. Like, you did something for our team. Good job. Oh, you did something for our team. It is, and it doesn't, there's no need for it to even be like that. We're in comedy. We're supposed to be writing jokes. It doesn't have to be political or like in the current zeitgeist. Write shit that you think is funny.
Yeah. And there's a place for political comedy. I'm not saying there's not, but just know that if you're going to do political comedy and you're not going to do it from like a center kind of thing where you're making fun of both sides, you're automatically cutting off 50% of your audience. Like, you look at somebody like Steve Byrne, he makes fun of everybody. People call him conservative, people call him liberal, and he's just like, look, I'm just here to make fun of everybody. I don't care who you are.
Right. You're all fucking crazy.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned. Every single one of you. I mean, well, I can't remember. It might have even been Benjamin Franklin who was like, if you want to be in political office, you must be insane, because nobody should vote for you the second that you want to be in power.
Dude, the amount of scrutiny that you have to go through in order to hold a political office is like, you have to be some sort of broken narcissist to want to do that shit.
Right. They're going to open up, well, I guess unless you get to become president or whatever, but normally they open up like all your bank accounts, all your...
Yeah.
All that stuff used to look bad. I don't know. I guess it doesn't anymore.
It's just like, they'll find out everything too. I mean, they'll just, you know, they'll be up there trying to run for like mayor, and they're like, this dude, you know, shit himself in 3rd grade. Like, can you answer for yourself, sir? And I'm like, okay. How'd you know about that?
Why did you know about that? And where is this file being held currently? Because we need to get, why are y'all paying attention to children like that?
Yeah.
Is that the U.S. government?
But speaking of shitting yourself, we're gonna come up on the end of the episode here. And one thing we do always ask our guests, we've asked all kind of people this question. We've asked, of course, Steve Byrne this question. We've asked Liz Mealy this question. Every comedian that comes on this show, we ask this question, because Jacob's not here to defend himself. But I'm gonna give you a little backstory here. Jacob has a habit of shitting himself as an adult man. And I'm of the opinion that you should not be shitting yourself as an adult man on a regular basis. So that's where we fall on the spectrum. And we always ask comedians, when was the last time as an adult have you shit your pants?
Literally never. I was I was wondering that the other day because I make terrible choices with food. Like my old lady won't eat so many things, but I will eat uh, half cooked shrimp off the floor if it looks tasty enough. If it's got enough Old Bay and butter on it, I
Yeah.
mean, don't waste it. Literally never. My stomach is just iron. I don't know. Or it might have been that I fucked up my whole stomach when I was 20 and I hiked the Appalachian Trail and I didn't shit for 3 weeks because there was no bathroom outside. And somehow I was prepared for the Appalachian Trail, but not for it to not have restrooms. So yeah,
You could have just went in the woods. I mean, that's what the woods is. Bears do it there.
That's what bears do, but I didn't want to bump into a bear in the bathroom.
Dude, what a way to go. Going in the bath, like, I got to go. And you just kind of go, find a little spot in the woods. And then all of a sudden, you get attacked by a bear. Like, you're going to die with your pants down, getting eaten by a bear. Like, what a horrible way to go.
Maybe he'll just drag me off and eat me some damn where. But then hopefully there's not a woman to try and break it up, because if they had to make that choice nowadays, I think they would pick not me. So,
because see, you're talking about making bad food choices. We don't make the greatest choices. We try to eat good around here. But the other night, me and my girlfriend got McDonald's, and she got a quarter pounder, and with the deluxe quarter pounder with like the, lettuce, tomato, all that stuff on it. Get home and the box is like just soaked with grease, and the burger it looked like a gorilla put this burger together. Like there was just sauce everywhere, and so she bites into it and it's completely uncooked. Like the outer edge is cooked, but it's completely pink and uncooked on the inside. I'm like, screw this. I'm taking this back. So went and took it back, got another one, and she eats it. And literally the next day, was it yesterday or day before, you see on YouTube the breaking news that E. coli outbreak from quarter pounders at McDonald's. And we're like, oh, shit.
I was about to be like, PSA, maybe don't go back.
Yeah, I think our McDonald's days are over with at this point.
Yeah, for sure. If it's not their quarter pounders, it's going to be their lettuce that kills you next. So,
and the thing is, it wasn't even the meat. It turns out it was the onions. The onions have E. coli. And you know why? Because, and this is just I've heard this before. I don't know if you could go Google this. But isn't it we get the onions from other countries, like from Mexico or South America, but those poor workers are out in the field all day and they're not allowed to go to the bathroom. So they
puking and shitting on themselves.
Yeah, so they just shit out in the fields while they're working. And then that bacteria gets into the vegetables. Yeah. And that's why we always have like, romaine lettuce outbreaks of like E. coli and shit.
Yeah, no, that's called that's a fertilization method.
It's crazy. It's always
crops.
It's always the vegetables and never the meat.
I mean, I still don't trust McDonald's meat.
Oh, it's not even meat. It's that pink slime stuff.
No, and we just got a Del Taco recently, and the texture of the beef for Del Taco, it reminds me of the time I had horse, but I don't mind it. Ugh. You know what I mean? And still haven't shit myself since I wore a diaper. So,
yeah, I just subscribe to the thing that you shouldn't be shitting yourself as an adult human being. There's no reason to shit yourself. You should be able to get to the bathroom.
They make thong diapers now, like indiscreet little.
Wait a minute.
Even know
thong diapers.
I'm pretty by now. The technology's there at least, right? Like whether it exists or not.
I'm trying to picture how thong diapers would work. So when the shit comes out, this is just sort of spread in a thin line,
it's like one of those old Play-Doh machines from the 80s.
Like the fuzzy pumper barber shop.
Yeah. You have to trim it off yourself.
Oh my, that is a visual I did not need. Wow. I think that's a good one to go out on, the fuzzy pumper barbershop diarrhea.
Oh my.
Wow. Well, man, it was so awesome having you on the show. I'm so sorry Jacob wasn't here. He still hasn't texted me, so I don't know what's going on with him.
I'll break out my Ouija board and see if he's on that side or not. But yeah, let me know. I'll give you both a tour next time.
You're an awesome guest.
I haven't pulled up all my old notes, so if you ever want to go on an actual ghost tour in town, next time y'all come over here and do comedy.
Yeah, absolutely. But we're definitely gonna. I'm gonna have him reschedule you for the show so you can come back and we can have the full open micers experience with Jacob here, because you're a lovely guest and I want to keep talking to you.
Thank you, brother. I had a great time.
Yeah, man. Well, tell everybody where they can find you on the interwebs.
Please follow me on all the interwebs, the real Sleepy P Floyd.com and all that other shit.
Awesome. I'll put your Instagram handle into the show notes here. It's at Sleepy Got Jokes. Go check him out. Go follow him over there. And thank you again for being on the show here. And for all of you out there, let me play our music here. If you want to email us at openmicersPodcast@gmail.com. Go to openmicers.com. And, of course, Linktree.com/openmicerspodcast is our link tree that takes you everywhere you need to go. All the socials, all the ways to give us money, all that good stuff. And don't forget, BeerAsCoffeeCo.com. Use the code OMPodcast at checkout for 10% off of your order. We love all of you, and we'll see you next week. And thank you all for watching on YouTube. We will see all of you next week.